In the next 20 minutes, you will be able to build this application which can answer any of your question and will continue to improve this application in further videos. Hello everyone, I am Kaustubh Sharma, GenAI Cloud Deputy Manager at a Big 4 MNC. Welcome to this easy to understand GenAI project. So to start, you need VS Code and Python in your PC. Just make sure to select all these checkboxes when installing VS Code and select this admin and path option when installing Python. If you face any issue while installing them, please let me know in the comments. So we have successfully installed VS Code and Python. Now comes to our Windows Explorer, and I suggest you create an empty separate folder, projects. You can name it whatever you want, and here just right click on empty space and this will open Windows 11 context menu. Just click on show more option and this will open the Windows 10 context menu and the full context menu, and here you can see this option open with code. So basically this is coming here because we checked that box when we are installing VS Code. So just click on it and this will open our Visual Studio Code, and here it is asking do you trust the author. So yes, you can select yes, I trust the author. So you can see the Visual Studio Code has opened into the projects folder. So let's check if Python is correctly installed or not. So go to terminal, click on new terminal, or you can also use the keyboard shortcut key Control Shift and grave accent. And here you can see terminal has been opened onto the same folder. So let's type the Python command. So here you can see we have installed the latest version 3.12.6. So most of the AI and ML work usually runs around the Python language. So whenever you install Python, a default package management system has been also installed with it, that is known as pip. So if you type pip, so you can see it has given me the usage option. So that means it has been installed into my system. So let me just clear the screen. So what does pip does? It will help me to install packages, modules, and several files. And to start with any Python project, the first thing you need to do is to install virtual environment. So let's do that. Pip install virtual env. So this will download the virtual environment module. So now the virtual environment has been successfully installed. So let me create a new virtual environment. So for that, you have to type virtual env as a command and type the name of the virtual environment which you want to create. So let me give it as a name VNV, and this will create a new virtual environment. And you can see a folder has been created into our projects folder, and it has the several files which are important to run the virtual environment. So now our virtual environment has been created. So let's activate it. You have to type the path of the activate file, which is there in the scripts. And here you can see what the PowerShell, it is this PowerShell script.ps1. So I just have to type the path of the file env and just press tab, and inside it is in the scripts folder. So scripts, and whenever you press tab it auto completed it, and then activate dot ps1, press enter, and you can see in the bracket our virtual environment vnv got activated. So now let's create two files, one for the backend, that is backend.py, that is the python file extension.py, and one for the frontend.py. So let's first create the front end so we can visually see what actually we are developing. So first thing, we need to import the Streamlit library. So what does Streamlit does? It help us to create front end very conveniently. So to actually import the Streamlit library, I have to install its package first. So I will do pip install Streamlit. So this is the correct way to install any type of library. Make sure you are into your virtual environment before installing any library. So even we just are installing Streamlit package, but along with it, there are many backend dependent packages which are getting installed with it. That's why it is important to create the virtual environment, which will help us to isolate all these packages from our system libraries. Because what will happen if we don't install virtual environment, and if we already have some of the libraries into our system, like some Tenacity or Blinker or Cache tools, then it will not get installed. It will be utilized from our system libraries. But as we activated the virtual environment, So all the necessary libraries will get installed. So this really help us to know what is our requirements. So now it has been successfully installed. And here I can see there is an warning sign, select interpreter. So just click on it, and here you can see there are two options available, Python 3.12 virtual environment, and one is for the global one. So always choose the virtual environment one. So now our Streamlit library has been installed. Let's use it. And it is very easy to utilize Streamlit and create front end using that. So just type Streamlit dot if I want to create a title, just click title, Gen AI project, and just press Ctrl S on your keyboard to save it. But VS Code has an amazing feature of autosave, which will automatically save your file whenever you make any changes. So you don't need to worry about pressing Ctrl S at every time. Just select this autosave option and make sure it got this right tick here. So now you don't need to worry about pressing Ctrl S all the time. So now it has been done. So to actually run this, let me just clear the terminal. So to run this frontend.py file, I will type streamlit run and press tab. So it will show me all the files here. So here is our frontend.py, or you can just manually type as well frontend.py and just press enter. So this will take you to your browser and you can see the title GenAI project here. So now let's create a text input block where user can enter the text and provide its input there. Let me just go there and Streamlit. So instead of typing Streamlit every time, what you can do, you can set the alias. So just type as st. So now instead of typing full name, it will work with the st as well. Okay. So just type st, and now here I want to create a input, text input basically. So here I will select text input and type the label which I want to give. So I will give it as an input, and I don't need to save it. Just go here and refresh this. So in this block, user can provide its input like what is AI, but how user will let us know that its input has been completed. So we should have a button which user can click on it and let us know that input has been completed. So for that, we will create a button here. So let's create a button st dot button and give it as a label. You can give it as a name as generate or go or submit, whatever. I will go with the go. So here is the go button. Now user can type question here, and when it's completed, hit the go button. So our UI is almost completed. So before we start with GenAI backend, let me give you a quick overview about GenAI and why it is so easy to use generative AI. As clear from its name, generative AI can generate new content and ideas like conversation, stories, images, videos, music on almost every subject. Now the question arises, if I want to make an AI application like ChatGPT, which can answer almost every subject, do I need to train my AI model and teach on each of these subjects? The answer is no. Instead of training your AI model from scratch, you can use foundational models. As its name suggests, they are used as a foundation to develop models for new application. And it totally makes sense. If someone has already trained AI on a subject, why would I waste my time and resources to train it again? Instead, I use that already trained model as a foundation and train it further on a specific topic to make it an expert on that topic. Or you can further fine tune them according to your use case. Just like if you have a foundation model pre-trained on English vocabulary, you can fine tune it for a specific word. Just like instead of hello, I use namaste. So I can fine tune my foundational model for that. So now let's move to the backend. So here in the backend, I will import Cohere library. So Cohere is the leading enterprise AI platform, and it is especially optimized for enterprise level generative AI, search and discovery, and advanced retrieval. And if you go down below on their website, you can see it is an enterprise grade level AI. So you can deploy it on AWS, on Azure, on Google Cloud, on its own platform Cohere, or Oracle Cloud, or even on your Office on-premises setup. So to use it, just click on try the playground and create your Cohere account. You can just also click continue with Google. So after you have logged in, just click on API keys. And the best part about Cohere, it is free. So we can utilize it for absolutely no cost. So just you have to create this trial keys. Don't create the production keys. Just create the trial keys because they are free of charges. So just click on new trial key and give it any name. So let me just give it a Gen AI project and just click on generate trial key. So this will generate a trial key. Just copy it and make sure you save it as safe place. Now come to our Visual Studio Code, and here you can see there is an error line below Cohere. Why? Because I haven't installed the Cohere library. So to do that, like I have to press Ctrl C to stop it. I have to use pip command, pip install Cohere. This will install the Cohere package and all its dependent libraries. So you can see like how many different packages it got installed along with it. Like it also installed Boto3 package, state transfer. So which we are not installing, but Cohere is dependent on those packages. Okay, so now it has been successfully installed. So you can see now the error line has also got removed. So now let's utilize it. So I have to pass the API keys which we have generated just now so that we can authenticate ourselves. So Cohere dot capital C client. Make sure you put the capital C in this client. It is like case sensitive, and here pass the API keys. But this is not a good practice. So what is the best practice to pass the sensitive information? It is to utilize environment variables. And to do that, let me just clear the terminal. We need to install the .env package, that is pip install python dash .env and press enter. So this command will install the .env package. This will help us to utilize environment variables from .env file. So let's also create a .env file, and let me create an environment variable here. Cohere API key, and here I will pass the value of my API key. Now to utilize this environment variable into backend.py, we need to import some functions from .env package, and to import only some function, not the whole library. What we have to do, we have to type from and then the library name .env and then import the functions. So what functions I need to import? First, I need a load function which can load the env file itself, and then I want to fetch the values from the environment file. So for that, I'm going to utilize .env underscore values. So both of them together will help me to get the values from my .env file. So let me just first load the .env, call this function. So to call that, we just have to type its name with the small brackets in front. So now we have load the env file. And also apart from .env, we also going to need help from the OS module. So let's import that as well. So now we can replace our API key with the environment variable os.get env, and here we are going to pass the key name, as you can see. So let me type Cohere underscore API key. So now to check if my value is getting passed from .env file to here, let me just store it in a variable and try to print it. So I stored in a co and try to print you. Okay. So let's try to run this file, and to run the backend file here, I will type Python and then press tab, and here is my backend file. Let's try to run it. So we are getting a response from Cohere. That means the value is definitely got passed. Let's see if we have passed the correct API key and we are being authenticated. So to do that, let's chat with the Cohere AI models. So let's call the chat function co.chat, and here we have to first pass the model, which model we want to chat. So Cohere has the multiple models to chat with. So let's go to our Cohere dashboard and click on playground. And here you can see multiple model names are there, so which you can chat with: command R, command nightly, light nightly, and C4 AI, command R plus 08 2024. It is the latest model. So you can utilize any model. So this is the latest stable model. So I'm going to select this command R plus. Let's copy it, and I'm going to pass it here. Model equals to command R plus. So now as I pass the model name, I also need to pass the message which I want to communicate with this model. Okay. So I will type message equals to, and what message I want to communicate. Basically, what is the query or what question you want to ask to this model. So let's me just type hello. Let's see what response we got. And let me store this in a variable output, and let's try to print this. Print output. Okay, let's run this file. And here you can see I am getting a response. Hello there, how can I help you today? So we are getting a perfect response, but still we are getting some other things which we are going to talk in the further videos. But basically I want this response which is there in the text. Okay, so what can I do? I can do output dot text. Now let's try to run this. So here I am getting the output which I need to pass to my front end UI. Okay, so it's not running because we have stopped that command. So what you can do, you can open a new terminal and make it available all the time. So just type Streamlit and run our front end file. Just press enter and this will open it, and you can see the front end UI here. And now go back to our previous terminal. I can see a warning bit here. So to remove that warning, what you can do, you can just hover over that PowerShell line and just click on relaunch terminal. So now it has been relaunched. So whenever you start again, make sure to activate the virtual environment again. Just I have to type the folder name VNV scripts and activate.ps1, and you can see my virtual environment has been activated. So now let's try to run our backend file python.backend.py. So here is my response. Let me just comment this out. Okay, so now let's try to run it again. So yes, now I am getting the only response which I want to pass to the front end. And before that, I have to pass the input to the back end. Okay. So how I am going to do that? Let's first capture the input which is provided by user. So let it store in a variable input. So now what will happen whenever user provide its input, like what is AI, it will get stored into this input variable. But also I want to capture the response from this go button. So let me store that as well. Go button in a different variable. And what I want to do, if someone click that button, go button, I will provide the condition. Okay, what should happen? I want to pass this input variable into my backend here. So here input will get replaced, and whatever the response will get from output.text, I want to write it here. So it can be displayed here. So to do that, let's first import the backend code, and it is as similar as import backend as bk. Let me type it as bk. So now I can call any function from my backend file, but there is no function I have defined in the backend file. So let's first do that. So I will define a new function, get text output, and for function we have to put the small brackets in front and just colon here. So now to check if my front end is able to call the backend function, let's try to return something to the front end. Return output, and let me store something in the output. So this is response from backend. So now I have stored into this output variable, and this is going to return whenever we call this function. So let's call it. Now you automatically get this name, put small brackets around it. So now what will happen? If someone hit this go button, it is going to call the get out text output from the backend, and this backend is going to return this response. This is a response from backend to our function. So let's see if this is working or not. So let's store the response in the output and print that output. And as we are utilizing Streamlit for the front end, we are going to utilize Streamlit write function and just pass the output variable here. So now if I go back to my UI and just hit this go button, it does not now connected to input as of now. So whenever someone hit this go button, we are getting this response. This is response from backend. So that means now my front end is connected to my backend. But now I want to make it fully functional. So like I want to pass this input to the output. So what I will do, I will pass this input variable here. in the output function, and it is going to capture here. I can put input, or you can put input text, whatever. Here you can define different name, but whenever you call this function, it is basically going to replace this. And basically what I want to return, I want to return output from this thing. So let me just copy it and try to paste it here. So now my function is going to return the output. So now if someone hit this go button, it is going to call this function from the back end with the input as an argument. And this input, it is taking the value from here, the input block, and this is going to replace the value here. And we have to pass this as a message. So what will I do? I will pass this as a message input text. So now it will going to put it as a message and get the value stored in this output variable, and that output variable is going to return the output here. Okay, so let me just comment all this. But actually we want to put as output.text because this output gives the more variables and I just want to print the text, remember? So I will put output.text. So now it should work. Let's first test it and then I will explain you again. Okay. So let's click on what is AI. So congratulations all of you guys who stayed till here, and we got a very elaborated output from Cohere models. So our app is working fully functional. So let's understand it how it is working. If someone hit that go button, it is going to activate this whole block. And what is happening in this code block? It is calling the get text output function from backend, and we are passing input as an argument. This input variable is taking its value from the text block here. So it will get passed to the backend function, get text output, and here the argument will come and it will replace this value here in message, and the response has been generated here. It will get stored into here. The text output is going to return by this function, and it will again come here and it will going to store in this output variable, and we are going to print this output. So this is how generative AI works, and you can get response of any input which you provide here. So let me just try what is fun fact about Kota. So it's my hometown. So let's see if it is able to give a response about it. We got a response. Kota is known as City of Coaches. Yes, we also known as Education City of India because here we have a great teachers for engineering and medical entrance exam. So yes, this is giving a correct response, and I hope you follow this project thoroughly, and you can should try with the different models and see how response is getting changed. Or if you want me to continue this project to improve it further or come up with more advanced Gen AI project, then let me know in the comments. And also please share this video with your friends and colleagues and juniors. I try to make this video as concise as possible and keep everything point to point. I hope you like this video. See you guys in the next one.